Now, how bad does that have to suck? I mean, how would you feel if you had to be the one to certify yourself as the loser of the presidential election?
The votes for President of the United States are as follows. Donald J. Trump of the state of Florida has received 312 votes. Kamala D.
Look at Mike Johnson's face back here as she's having to read this. This is tough.
Harris.
And that smile as he's clapping.
Kamala D. Harris of the state of California has received 226 votes.
Look at them all.
70.
Cheering for that second place. I'm not going to lie. There's a little part of me, it's not a big part at all, that kind of feels bad for having to do this. I mean, you know, she got thrown into this presidential race after the coup against Joe Biden. I mean, we all knew that he wasn't competent to serve in that position anymore, but to be thrown in with only a couple months to go, that was a tough thing. And, you know, I'd like to think that she did her best. She only spent over $1 billion on her campaign, but, you know, what has to be going through her mind right now as she's certifying this? I mean, the look on her face is like, girl, just breathe. Don't let them see you sweat. She's probably texting Obama later like, bro, this is a lot harder than you said it was going to be. But if you guys stay to the end of this video, we're going to see her first response since having to certify these elections. But before we do, just want to hear from Mike Johnson real quick.
Today was a certification, and Vice President Kamala Harris was standing or seated next to you. Must have been tough for her. Did she discuss it at all with you?
We didn't really talk about the election. That would have been a bit awkward. But you said that she did it with grace, and I think she did. And, you know, it was a tough thing to do. I mean, this was a landslide for President Trump, and we're so excited about that. And we got to certify that today.
See, and I think that's a big point to all of this. You know, with the whole 2016 election, the Democrats were screaming that we had an illegitimate president, right? So come 2020, all of a sudden, you mean to tell me Joe Biden gets 81 million votes? Barack Obama didn't even get 81 million votes. I'm sorry, there's no way you can convince me that more people voted for Joe Biden than they did for Barack Obama. I'm not some election denier, but do I believe that there was some cheating involved? Absolutely. There is proof of it. Now, people will say, well, all of it was thrown out in court. That whole process to get an election turned over in the court systems is the biggest uphill battle to begin with, and partially for good reason, because we want to maintain the integrity of our elections. But with everything that was happening, there was plenty of proof that everything wasn't on the up and up. But at the end of the day, Joe Biden became our president, and a lot of us just had to deal with it.
Day and make history. We made history in a number of ways, Greta. This is the first time since 1988 that no Democrat in the House objected to the certification of a Republican victory for president. I think that's because we did exactly what President Trump said that we should do, and that is make it too big to rig. And we did. And this is a mandate from the American people, and we are very much ready to get to work on this agenda.
Trump and Johnson are exactly right. It had to be too big to rig this time because for the 2020 election, they just cheated too big to lose. That's the reality of it. So this time around, there had to be so many votes that they couldn't even get past or cheat past it. There are too many eyes on it. Just listening to all the people that were at the polling places watching what was going on, it would have been really, really hard for them to cheat the way that they did in 2020. But here's the hypocrisy of it all. And this is all politicians. This just isn't the left. It's also the right in a lot of cases. But right now, it's definitely the left with the hypocrisy of what's going on. Listen to what Chuck Schumer has to say. And I think they're playing it smart this time. They're playing this election smart because they lost so badly. they're not going to pick a battle on this one. But listen to what he has to say.
We hope also we serve as an example to our Republican colleagues. We are not election deniers. We lost the election, we regret it. But we believe in the strength of our democracy, and that when you lose an election, you roll up your sleeves and try to win the next one. You don't deny that you lost and encourage people to do bad things because you did not want to admit any.
Now, here's the thing to this one. This is what they're saying in 2024 after a terrible loss. But let's listen to what they had to say back in 2016. It wasn't the same message.
You can run the best campaign. You can even become the nominee. And you can have the election stolen from you.
Now, I'm not going to play this whole 24 minutes, but I'm going to play a few minutes of it. Let you guys hear for yourself.
How can you win with Russian interference, though?
That's what I'm
scared about in 2020.
But rightly.
Because I think he's an illegitimate president that didn't really win. So how do you fight against that in 2020?
You are absolutely right.
He's an illegitimate president in my mind.
Would you be my vice presidential candidate? Folks, look, I absolutely agree.
Trump didn't actually win the election in 2016. He lost the election, and he was put into office because the Russians interfered.
Russia.
Now, that's a former president of the United States saying this, okay? That carries some weight. And then there's this clown, this guy. It's almost like nails on a chalkboard listening to this guy speak.
Interfered with our election, attacked our democracy for the sole purpose of artificially placing someone at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. They were successful.
Trump knows he's an illegitimate president.
The president-elect, although legally elected, is not legitimate.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
You said you believe that Russia's interference altered the outcome of the election.
I do. We have a president who, if in fact it is proven, has been assisted by the Russians and may in fact not be a legitimate president.
The one thing that Trump is fearful of when it comes to his being president is that finally we will see how illegitimate his victory actually was.
I have an objection.
I object to the 15 votes from the state of North Carolina. I object because people are horrified.
He's an illegitimate.
So you mean to tell me that these politicians stood up and objected to the election results? However, when we did it for Trump in 2020, we were the ones that were in the wrong. A little bit of hypocrisy, you think?
President.
Our election was hijacked. There is no question. Congress has a duty to hashtag protect our democracy and hashtag follow the facts.
John Lewis is completely right. There is a cloud of illegitimacy around the election of Donald Trump. The Russians interfered with his election. James Comey and the FBI interfered with his election.
He almost said erection.
The fake news industry interfered with his election.
Trump knows.
Have you ever noticed, too, that all their talking points are always the same? They always say the exact same words, the exact same lines, time after time after time. They repeat it enough until they believe the lie, and they try and make you believe the lie. It's incredible. So at the end of the day, did I enjoy watching Kamala Harris certify President Trump yesterday? Absolutely. Am I thankful that President Trump won the 2024 election? Absolutely. Do I think he's perfect? Absolutely not. Do I think he's going to get it all right? Absolutely not. But after the past 4 years, I just couldn't take any more. So I promised you at the beginning that I would play Kamala Harris's first video since having to certify the election. She's talking to the people, and here's what she had to say. Hope you enjoy it.
I just have to remind you, don't you ever let anybody take your power from you. You have the same power that you did before November 5th. And you have the same purpose that you did. And you have the same ability to engage and inspire. So don't ever let anybody or any circumstance take your power from you.
So let me know what you guys thought about the presidential certification that happened yesterday, January 6th. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, your thoughts on what's going to happen in this crazy, crazy 2025. If you enjoyed the video, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, hit the subscribe button and follow along. Take care. Take care? Really? Is that how I tried to end that video? I'll see you guys on the next one.